can you really escape your destiny, no matter how hard you try? In ancient Greece, one king learned the answer to this question in the most tragic way possible. His name was Acrisius, and his attempt to cheat fate would set in motion one of mythology's greatest adventures. In the golden age of ancient Greece, when gods walked among mortals and heroes shaped the world, the city of Argos stood as a powerful kingdom. Its ruler, King Acrisius, enjoyed wealth and power, but he lacked the one thing he desperately wanted: a male heir to continue his legacy. He had only one child, a daughter named Danae, whose beauty was said to rival that of the goddesses themselves. Tormented by his lack of a son, Acrisius traveled to the Oracle of Delphi, seeking answers about his future. The oracle's words chilled him to his very core. She prophesied that he would never have a son, but his daughter would bear a grandson who would one day kill him. This terrifying prediction consumed Acrisius with fear and paranoia. Determined to prevent this fate, the king devised what he believed was a foolproof plan. He constructed a bronze chamber deep beneath his palace, a prison without doors or windows. Into this underground tomb, he locked his beloved daughter Danae, ensuring no man could ever reach her. If Danae never met a man, she could never have a child, and the prophecy would never come true. Or so he thought. But Acrisius had made a fatal miscalculation. He had only considered mortal men as potential threats. High on Mount Olympus, Zeus, the king of the gods, gazed down upon the world and saw Danae imprisoned in her bronze chamber. Her beauty and her tragic situation moved him deeply. Zeus decided he would visit this lonely princess, but how could he reach someone locked in a chamber with no entrance? Zeus possessed the power to transform himself into anything he desired. He chose to become something that could penetrate even the most secure prison: a shower of golden rain. The shimmering droplets fell through the roof of the bronze chamber, cascading over Danae in a divine visitation. From this supernatural union, Danae conceived a child. Months later, when Acrisius heard the sound of a baby crying from within the sealed chamber, his blood ran cold. He ordered the chamber opened and discovered his worst nightmare had come true. Danae held an infant son in her arms. She named him Perseus. The king faced a terrible dilemma. He couldn't simply kill his daughter and grandson outright, as such an act would bring down the wrath of the gods and the fury of his people. Instead, Acrisius chose another cruel solution. He had a large wooden chest constructed, placed Danae and baby Perseus inside, and cast them out to sea. He reasoned that if the waves claimed their lives, he wouldn't be directly responsible for their deaths. The chest drifted on the wine-dark waters, tossed by storms and currents, while Danae clutched her infant son and prayed to the gods for salvation. Their prayers were answered. The chest washed ashore on the island of Seriphos, where a kind fisherman named Dictys discovered it. He brought the mother and child to his home, where they lived peacefully for many years. Dictys became like a father to Perseus, teaching him to fish and navigate the seas. Perseus grew into a strong and courageous young man, unaware of his divine heritage or the prophecy hanging over his family. But peace couldn't last forever. Polydectes, the king of Seriphos and brother of Dictys, became obsessed with Danae's beauty. He wanted to marry her, but Perseus stood in his way, protecting his mother from the king's unwanted advances. Polydectes devised a cunning scheme to remove Perseus from the picture. He announced he would marry another woman and demanded that all his subjects bring him gifts of horses. Perseus, having no horses to give, boldly declared he would bring the king any gift he desired, even the head of Medusa herself. This was exactly what Polydectes wanted to hear. Medusa was one of the 3 Gorgon sisters, monsters so hideous that anyone who looked directly at them turned instantly to stone. Her head was covered with writhing serpents instead of hair. Sending Perseus on this quest was essentially a death sentence. But Perseus was the son of Zeus, and the gods decided to aid him. Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare, appeared to him with crucial advice. She explained that he must never look directly at Medusa but should only view her reflection. She gave him a polished bronze shield that would serve as a mirror. Hermes, the messenger god, provided winged sandals for swift flight and an adamantine sickle sharp enough to cut through anything. Perseus also received guidance to seek out the Graeae, 3 ancient sisters who shared a single eye among them. By stealing their eye, he forced them to reveal the location of certain magical items he needed. The cap of invisibility belonging to Hades, and a special bag to safely carry Medusa's severed head. Equipped with divine gifts, Perseus flew to the lair of the Gorgons at the edge of the world. He found them sleeping, surrounded by the petrified statues of countless warriors who had failed before him. Using Athena's shield as a mirror, Perseus carefully approached Medusa, while watching only her reflection. With one swift stroke of his sickle, he severed her head. From Medusa's neck sprang Pegasus, the magnificent winged horse, and the giant Chrysaor, children of Poseidon conceived before her transformation into a monster. Perseus placed Medusa's head in his magical bag and fled as her immortal sisters awakened and pursued him. The cap of invisibility protected him from their vengeance. On his journey home, Perseus performed other heroic deeds. He rescued the princess Andromeda from a sea monster and made her his wife. He turned the Titan Atlas to stone, creating the mountain range that still bears his name. When Perseus finally returned to Seriphos, he discovered that Polydectes had been persecuting his mother and Dictys during his absence. Perseus crashed the king's banquet hall and revealed Medusa's head, turning Polydectes and his corrupt followers to stone. He made the kind fisherman Dictys the new king of Seriphos. Years passed, and Perseus decided to return to Argos to meet his grandfather. Acrisius, hearing that Perseus was alive and approaching, fled in terror, remembering the prophecy. He traveled to the city of Larissa to escape his fate. But destiny cannot be denied. Perseus also traveled to Larissa to compete in athletic games held in honor of the king. During the discus throw, Perseus's disc veered off course, struck Acrisius in the crowd, and killed him instantly. The prophecy was fulfilled, not through intention, but through tragic accident. Perseus, devastated by accidentally killing his grandfather, refused to rule Argos. He exchanged kingdoms with his cousin and founded the city of Mycenae, which would become one of the greatest centers of Greek civilization. The story of Danae and Perseus teaches us profound lessons about fate and human nature. Acrisius's attempts to avoid his destiny only ensured it came to pass. His fear and cruelty set in motion the very events he sought to prevent. The tale also celebrates the hero's journey, showing how courage, divine favor, and cleverness can overcome seemingly impossible challenges. This myth has influenced countless works of art, literature, and film throughout history. From Renaissance paintings to modern movies, the image of Perseus holding Medusa's head remains iconic. The story reminds us that trying to control everything often leads to our downfall, while accepting our path with courage leads to greatness. In the end, Perseus became not the instrument of tragedy his grandfather feared, but a legendary hero whose deeds inspired generations. For more powerful myths and legends, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mythic Narratives Hub.